Welcome to the Prowler Podcast. Today, we're thrilled to have Matthew Dallas with us, and Michael's also on. Matthew's Michael's little brother, and we're just going to dive into, Matthew's recruiting journey from Briarcrest Christian School to Wake Forest University. Matthew has also been in some headlines in the college baseball world lately. Transferring from Tennessee to Wake Forest, and so without further ado, let's turn over to Matthew as he introduces himself and shares more about his background.
Thank you for having me on. I'm glad to finally be with y'all too. It's been quite a journey from being a high school guy, kind of a nobody really until my junior or senior year. Kind of went up a little bit on the summer circuit with being with USA and stuff like that. So it's been pretty cool. Then recruiting obviously started really young. I committed like my freshman summer. So then going to this year, went to Tennessee and then just had that hard decision to kind of leave and ended up at Wake Forest.
Right, man. It's always a hard decision. And, what can you tell us about your journey through the portal? Like, entering the portal into now. And then, like, what led to your decision to transfer from Tennessee to, Wake Forest?
Yeah, I think it was just basically a development standpoint of that kind of made me switch. I felt like kind of what Wake Forest does and with their pitching lab and kind of their pitching coach is great. So that was kind of like the main reasons why we decided to kind of leave. But I mean, the portal, like the transfer portal in college is insane. Like, I mean, within probably 2 or 3 minutes of my name actually being there, I was getting blown up already. And literally the day of me being in the portal, there was coaches flying down here to come meet with me. I had three meetings the same day I got in the portal. So I probably had 20 plus phone calls that first day. So it's just always on the phone, just 24/7.
Yeah, hearing Michael talk about it too, it's like a really fast process and it's all kind of at once. You got to take it all in. But, you know, the recruiting process in high school is a lot different than the, transfer portal. What are the, like, biggest, like, differences in between the two, high school and transfer portal?
Yeah, I'd say with me, it started so young. I like the first time I talked to a college coach, I talked to Alabama, Ole Miss, and Tennessee in one night, and then after that, I just kept on talking to Tennessee and had a good relationship with them. But like you're able to have those 2 or 3 years of building a relationship with the portal. You're in within a week or two. You're probably committing, if not sooner. So, I mean, I kind of went a little bit longer than usual people do. But I'd say the biggest thing is just the time you're able to spend in college of getting to know them before you step on campus, other than in the portal, you talk to them once or twice, then you're on campus trying to see if you'll commit or not. So I'd say those are the biggest things.
Yeah, definitely. It's a pretty wild experience to go from high school. Like you spend all this time building a relationship, talking to all these different coaches, talking to them multiple times before you finally land a decision. You think it's going to be one of the biggest decisions you've ever made. And then later down the road, if that so happens, you hop in the portal and you literally have taken the 2 years or a year long process that it took the first time and it shrinks it down to 1 to 2 weeks. And boom, you've done everything. And next thing you know, you're on campus and you've made a decision in 2 weeks, which is pretty crazy. It's pretty fast paced. So it's a lot different than high school recruiting for sure.
Yeah, it definitely seems a lot faster, and so definitely seems a lot more challenging to make your decision. And get challenged at all during the transfer process, Matthew?
Yeah, I mean, you have a lot of colleges that are trying to sell themselves, and a lot of colleges that you probably know that you're not going to go to, but still want to have that chance. I would say that's kind of like the big thing, where schools that are so far away are still trying to recruit and stuff like that. But I'd say those are the biggest thing is trying to give everybody a chance, trying to really see where you'll develop the best of all these schools that are kind of talking to you and then make the decision of those final few, then go and kind of visit them.
Right. And during that process, how did you stay like so focused on everything? How did you stay like, open minded and, kept your head clear? How did you like go about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's very hard when you have all these SEC teams like keep on trying to reach out. And I mean, it's crazy how you'll be on phone with phone with another person, and then within like 2 minutes, you're hanging up and on the phone with another guy. But I would say the same. I would say like with me, I was playing baseball here in the Cape, Massachusetts. So I'd say that's like a big thing of like, hey, I got until 2 or 3 until I need to be at the field. Once I'm at the field, put the phone down and wait until after the game to put it back up. So I would say that that kind of helped me a bunch of is playing baseball still and being able to put the phone down for a little bit.
Yeah, and during the process, you're obviously gonna like you're coming from a school already, right? You're
Yeah.
going into a new school. How did you compare the two programs, Wake Forest and Tennessee, or any of the other programs that you were looking at? How did you compare the two?
Yeah, I mean, I think with me, there's just some stuff that I want at this next program that I'm going to be a little bit better. And so that's what I was communicating with the coaches all along is like, hey, I want this, this, and this to be a little bit better and stuff like that. And they're like, yeah, we got it here and stuff like that. So I would say you can take your cons and kind of talk to these other coaches and see which one you think is better to be at and find that best fit for you that you didn't get as much as at your last school.
Right. I think Wake Forest is going to be a great opportunity for you, man. The
Yeah.
lab being there, and they always have a solid baseball team. They're a great program, and even Michael, hitting the portal and going to Memphis now. So
Yeah,
that's news right there, baby.
that's awesome.
But you know, with your experience, Matthew, high school, you're a big recruit, and then transfer portal and stuff. What advice can you give other athletes who are considering entering the transfer portal?
Take your time. I mean, it's the biggest. It's like it's probably the hardest decision I've ever made in my life. I was trying to pick which school to go to. So I would say my biggest thing is take your time and really try to connect with the coaches the few times that you're able to, because it's not like high school that we talked about where you're talking to them 50 times before you're on campus. You're talking to them 2 or 3 max. So I would say get what you didn't like from your last school and like dive deep into that and talk to those coaches about that and see what they do differently and how they're going to fix it and stuff like that. But I would say for me, a lot of people rush into the portal, like making that decision and right when they get an offer and commit. That's what I did with Tennessee. Like the next day I got my offer, I committed, which I don't regret at all. But I would say take your time. I mean, it's a lifelong decision. So take your time, try to find the best fit for you.
Right, and obviously you've come up to this point now. You prepared for this like in high school, like you know what you were going into. Um, like what advice can you give these high school athletes who are preparing to go to college, and then maybe they're preparing, go to college, and then say they're going to a smaller school, then they're like getting ready to transfer up. What advice can you give them like to work on in high school and to get ready for college?
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing is just be ready to work a lot more. I mean, it's a whole eye-opening experience the first week on campus than you did in high school. It's the amount of work and the amount of time you got to put into not just baseball but school too. It's very different than high school. High school you can kind of go into it and be easy about it and whatever. But I mean, college, everybody's trying to be better than you. Everybody's trying to get to that next level. Everybody's trying to get better every day. So I'd say that's the biggest thing is just be ready to work.
Right. And here at the Prowler, we tell these kids they don't have to go to the biggest school in the college. They can go somewhere smaller and work their way back up to like a bigger school. But for some players like big recruit out of high school, going to a great school, national title, um, and then going to another big program. Um, but all these athletes don't really. They need to know that they don't have to go to these bigger programs. You can go to a smaller program, work their way up, and that's kind of what Michael did. He went to a big school, and then he went to mid-major, and now he's at Memphis, pretty big baseball school now. So he
Yeah, and
does.
now looking at it, a guy from Wake Forest that just got drafted, Seaver King, in the first round. He played at Division II college last year,
Yep.
transferred to Wake Forest, and then got drafted in the first round. So at the end of the day, he found his place to play, and he found a place where he could develop for a year or two, and then boom, he got a shot at the highest level, and he made the most of it.
Yep.
So you don't need to play 3 years at a Division I level now to go to the next level. You need to have pretty much one great year. And it just proves that playing is the most important thing.
Yeah,
Right.
backing on Michael, I'd say like a lot of people, like out of recruits, they always want to go to the biggest name college. Like all they care about is that name. Instead of going to a JUCO or something like that where they 100% know that they'll play. Like I would say, like I would have paid more attention to these bigger JUCOs coming out of high school like now than I would have back then because they're getting so much better and getting so many bigger recruits because you can get drafted out of them in a 1 year or I mean that's a huge thing that all these big colleges look at nowadays is trying to find those players that had a really good season and now you're JUCO 1 year and you're in the SEC next year then you're drafted like it's crazy how time can fly just going to a JUCO.
The JUCO route is definitely special, man. You can be the biggest recruit and you still go JUCO. You can still get drafted first round. But you know, speaking on that, so Paul Skeens, he got added to the All Star game. He's going to be as a rookie, only the fifth pitcher in history, like as a rookie, to be able to do that. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that dude is. I mean, even in college, you can just always tell that he was just different. Like
Yeah,
even in college, everybody's like, "Yeah, he's gonna go to the big leagues within a year," and then people were kind of skeptical to see if he'll actually like stay there and kind of do what he's doing right now. But I mean, that dude is just killing it. Like, there's no reason why he's not gonna be a 20 plus year big leaguer.
yeah, he's definitely had a big impact on the Pirates very
Well,
quickly.
even him though, he's always working and developing. He actually made another big jump from college to the majors of adding a new pitch, which is his best pitch. It's called a splinker. It's like a splitter and a sinker. It's a combination of a splitter and a sinker, and it is statistically his best pitch. And he throws it 97 miles an hour. He didn't throw that in college, and he made he developed that pitch when he got into pro ball. So even like perennial number one overall picks are still working hard and still developing and still learning new things. So especially as like a high school kid, like you should never be settled, even if you're a top recruit like Matthew was. Like you're always working, you're always developing, everyone's always trying to get better.
Yeah, and these these kids, Preston's helping out, get to these colleges. They don't have any exposure, and so that's what Preston's doing. He's getting these kids offers and exposure, and he's got this one kid that is blowing it out of the water right now, getting D1 offers back to back to back, going to camps, working hard, developing, and that's all you can do. And so we try to tell these kids, but you know, thank you, Matthew, for coming on and sharing your knowledge with other athletes. And thank you all for tuning into the Prowler Podcast. And we look forward to continuing to expand your awareness for our platform and look forward to partnering with those who are serious about playing the sport at the next level. And Matthew, thank you for coming on. And Michael, I think we're going to have Michael on here soon and talk about, his transfer process to Memphis now. And as always, Prowler up, and we'll see you all next week.